What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blitz Angle tonight. My name is Blitz Link, and I'm here with Dan Loya tonight. Dan, let's just say this game lived up to every expectation we had. We had Drake Maye performing at an MVP level. We had Justin Fields performing at the level he has all year, and the Patriots are now sitting alone at the NFL with 9 wins and are the number one team in the NFL. Dan, what were your thoughts on tonight's action?
Yeah, I think it played out pretty much how we expected. I thought. I mean, the Jets we had more success throwing the ball than I think we both thought. Fields had. Let me pull up the stats. Fields threw for 116 yards, and it feels like he threw for 300 to me. He made a
That's
lot of he
generous.
made a lot of yeah, especially after last week. So he made a lot of plays with his legs. The Jets played hard. They played hard for the coach Aaron Glenn, and overall, I think, yeah, the Patriots are legit, and I hope people realize that, especially after a win like tonight. It's tough to play Thursday night, short week. They lost their best defensive player, Milton Williams, to in the first or second quarter. I got it in my notes. Hopefully, he's healthy for them. He got hurt in the first quarter.
Yeah, I thought he returned a
So,
little bit too.
oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause okay, yeah, I mean, they need him healthy. They paid him a lot of money this offseason, and for a playoff push, they need him in the middle of that defensive line. But overall, I think the stars for the Patriots shined. Rookies as well. You know, Drake Maye finished 25 at 34, 281 yards, one TD. Stephon Diggs, veteran wide receiver, 9 catches, 105 yards, and then the man of the game, Travion Henderson. He finally got some touches, and it resulted in touchdowns. He got 2
Yep.
rushing, one receiving, so, shout out to the rookie, and, Patriots as a team look good, and Mike Vrabel's got them going right now.
Yeah, they got everything working right now. They got a really good defense. They have great coaching staff, and they have a quarterback to be able to do it. And that's exactly what you need to make
Yeah,
a deep playoff run. That really feels like this Patriots team. While a lot of people will look at their schedule and say this team's not legit, this Patriots
no,
team is
yeah,
legit. They have so
they're
many
legit.
different levels to this team to where they're a scary team you don't want to face. Drake Maye has looked really good this year, and I'm going to talk about Josh McDaniels because he has not gotten enough credit for what he's done to this team right now. And I mean, you just watch this offense, and I know, like, I talked with Brady. I was giving Brady a little bit of crap on Twitter. Like, they were complaining about Josh McDaniels' play calling about running too much on first and second down. You know what New England's been so good at this year is play action and having wide open receivers down the field. It feels like every time I watch New England on a weekly basis, every like 3 to 4 plays, there's a receiver running open in the intermediate routes. There's a receiver running
Yeah,
open deep, and Drake May has been really good. Like what we've seen from him, and I'll talk about him in a second. I'm not trying to discredit him, but he's also had a really good offensive coach that's allowed him to be very successful, and it's helped his development for sure. And now we're watching Drake May in his improvising level that we saw last year. Like you can see how this guy maneuvers around the pocket, the ball placement he has. He has a really good coach to go along with it. And now we're seeing an MVP version of Drake May. I truly think he's in that conversation as, you know,
yeah,
one of the best 5 quarterbacks in football. Now, we've seen this over the past few years where a rookie comes on or a second year guy comes on and has a breakout year and we want to crown them. Right. I want to see it a little bit longer from Drake May, but everything that my eyes are telling me, everything the film's telling me is this guy is unbelievable at football. And the New England Patriots found another franchise quarterback, but that defense deserves a lot of credit too. After that first drive, they stepped up. They played really good run defense after that long drive that, the Jets gained a little bit of momentum,
yeah.
but they had their hand. It was pretty easy for them all day against the Jets offense. What were you seeing from them today?
Yeah, first off, I wanna start from where you began your chat with, the argument that the Patriots haven't played anybody this season. They just went down to Tampa and beat a very good, NFC team, down there, and I don't care who they're playing. If you got to trust your eyes, they're playing extremely well right now. They look like a good football team, and the AFC is up for grabs. So right now, they're currently the number one seed. If they continue to win, the playoffs will run through Foxborough like it did
Yeah.
many years ago. So the Patriots are legit. People got to stop thinking that they have an easy schedule. Trust your eyes. Drake May's playing incredible. I can argue that he could have had a better game. His stats could have looked better.
Yeah.
Matt Collins had a ball, and the defender made a great play for New York, but he's got to bring that in. Also, over the middle, Stephon Diggs had a pass, went right through his hands, and then he ended up kind of injuring his hip, it looked like, during the game. So Drake May's playing incredible right now. This offense is clicking. Josh McDaniels, we know he's had 2 stints as a head coach, Denver and Las Vegas. It hasn't worked out, but he is one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. You can see that with him being an offensive coordinator this year. He's look what he's doing with this team, man. With all these rookies, a second year quarterback, the whole offense looks good. Play calling looks extremely well. So they're a dangerous team, man. Real dangerous, and I think the Patriots are legit, man. They're legit.
Yeah, 100%. On the Jets side of things, like, unfortunately for them, it's hard to get a real look at what this team looks like. They traded away their star defensive players. On the offensive side of the ball, Justin Fields clearly, I'm not sure what his PR team did to maintain this public image that Justin Fields deserves to be a starter for so long. Right? I mean, it's just bad. Like, we have an NFL quarterback, Dan, that struggles to get to 135 yards in a game. That's just unbelievable. And you see some of the throws today, right? On Twitter, I posted the one about AD Mitchell like running wide open on a great play call, right? He's got 5 yards of separation on a wheel route. Fields underthrows him and throws it behind him. And, AD Mitchell's getting blamed for dropping that ball. I don't know what your experience is at playing any sort of wide receiver or running routes, but that's an incredibly hard catch for a receiver to make. And Justin Fields could have lofted that one in the breadbasket, and that's a third down conversion right there. You look at some of the deep balls that are just underthrown. You look at some of the times where he just holds onto the ball and he makes sometimes plays happen with his legs, but doesn't get the ball out, right? He is just not an NFL quarterback that sees the field very well. And it's even worse when it's compounded that he hasn't had success as of late, and he's not super confident in his abilities. So you're getting this version of Justin Fields that makes the offense completely one dimensional, right? If their running game is not working, Dan, this offense is beyond screwed. And we
Yeah. Oh
mentioned
yeah.
last week they scored 2 touchdowns off of special teams, right? They had those touchdowns, and that's why they beat the Browns. And they're sitting there with Brees Hall that's just unfortunately getting pounded into the dirt, and they just it's really frustrating, I'm sure, as a Jets fan watching this type of offense performance. And the good thing for them is they know that this is the last year they'll have to watch that. They have a ton of draft picks, right? I actually think AD Mitchell looked really good getting open tonight, and his separation was good. I know he didn't really have a good box score day. He had a drop mixed in there. But I thought he looked really good, and I think he's a guy that long term looks really good next to Garrett Wilson. Mason Taylor showed some flashes. Isaiah Davis in the backfield alongside Braylon Allen. Like, they have young pieces, and their offensive line and the run game has also been pretty good. So I think if they hold things together, I think if they bring back this offensive staff, add a quarterback, maybe add another receiver, like, this is not that bad of an offense. And I could see a quick turnaround for New York in 2026 if they make the right moves. I just think their quarterback play has been so poor this year that they're just in a really bad spot. And then defensively, this is going to be more of a longer rebuild. I mean, they're not talented at all on that side of the ball. They have a few nice edge rushers.
Yeah.
And outside of that, I can't say I'm very confident in what they have on the defensive side of the ball. That'll be a longer rebuild. But I think in New York, you have to be excited about some of these young pieces they have on the offensive side of the ball. And then defensively, it's going to be a little bit of a rebuild. But for New York right now, it's all about trying to see what young guys could potentially work towards being big time contributors in the future, and, just suffer through this Justin Fields period. I would not be surprised if we see Tyrod Taylor as a starter next week.
Yeah, that's why it's Aaron Glenn didn't announce a starter. He waited to the last minute, and I don't even think he announced it. I just knew who was starting when Justin Fields ran onto the field in the first quarter. I put, all right, I guess he's starting tonight. So, but I think Herb Street kind of had a good point tonight, and I agree with it. It's just you look at Justin Fields, he's got some tools, right? If you're a coach, you're like, wow, he's big, he's got a strong arm, he's mobile, but then I just don't think he's a good quarterback. He can't play the quarterback position. I think he's an athlete.
Felt like the
And
process on the field for him.
yeah, and I think to add on to that, he was with Chicago for 3 years, then he went with Pittsburgh, tried to learn a new language last season, and now he's trying to learn another new playbook this year. So it's just hard. It's hard for a young player if he can't just stay in one system and continue to grow. And I thought Herb Street made that point, and I agree with it. So overall, Justin Fields isn't the future. They're gonna draft a quarterback at some point, but the New York Jets, they're stockpiling picks. They have 2 first-round picks this year, 2 second-round picks this year as well, and then the next draft, 2027, which is gonna be loaded, they have 3 first-round picks. So they're just continuing to stockpiling picks, and, the Jets could have a bright future if they hit on those picks.
Yeah.
Those picks are lottery tickets, and there's no guarantees those players turn into anything. So the GM and the scouts have to work extremely hard to hit on those picks, because if they do, they could set up the franchise for a long success for a good 5, 10 years. So it all relies on the next coming drafts here, and I think the Jets got I like you said, they got those two edge rushers that I like, Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald, but they don't have a secondary anymore with trading Sauce Gardner. They lost their defensive tackle, traded him to the Cowboys. They need to improve the back end, the secondary, and their linebackers. So this team they have a lot of picks, but they also have a lot of holes. So it's going to be a team that I'm sure if you start a Madden franchise, they're gonna be fun to rebuild because there's
They
a
are
lot of
gonna
work
be
to do.
rebuild. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that'll be something I do in the offseason is tackle the Jets rebuild, get
Yeah.
a video out there for you guys. I think that'll be definitely some good content as well. I think with the Jets though, like I think this coaching regime knows that like their jobs are safe, even though like
Yeah.
they've had
Oh,
a
yeah.
really bad season. It's just, they're gonna be a part of this rebuild. I think Aaron Glenn, while I'm not super high on him being the long-term answer for the Jets, right? I think they're gonna run it back. They're gonna be able to have them in the vision in the future and kind of construct the roster they wanted to. So I think for that, I'm fine with it. I will see how it works out with Aaron Glenn, but I mean they had talent on the defensive ball this year, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And Aaron Glenn hasn't done a great job with that unit, but it also doesn't help when you have an offense that struggled as much as the Jets this year. So with them, it's going to be a 2 to 3 year project. But let's close the show talking about the AFC East outlook and the AFC for the rest of the year. Patriots are a force to be reckoned with, Dan. They have a 1.5 game lead over Buffalo right now. They own the tiebreaker. Who are you picking to win this division now with New England rolling? Buffalo took a tough loss last week. Obviously, Buffalo has a significantly tougher schedule to close the year. Could we be looking
Yeah.
at the
Brutal.
Bills losing the division for the first time in 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, right now you gotta go with the Patriots. You gotta roll with a hot hand, and they just have an easier schedule, and I trust them right now. I think their team's better than Buffalo because you saw what happened last week. If the Bills can't run the ball, they don't have any receivers to separate right now, and that's why they went out there and got Mecole Hardman, a speedster, to help out Josh Allen.
I
But
can tell you right now, he is not
I think
separating at
it's
an elite level.
but I think it's a little too late, and I mean, he was a free agent for a reason. But I did like him come out of Georgia, and then I know you would know more because you had to deal with him in Kansas City. But
He's
yeah,
just like he's fast and he doesn't separate. Like
yeah,
he
he's a deep
never
guy.
he never lived up to like where the Chiefs drafted him. They drafted him, to be, let's say trying to think of a fast guy that's like been, you know, it's hard to comp a guy, but like a more consistent Jamison Williams, I guess, is what they were looking for with McCole Hardman, and he never really materialized into that player. He just didn't separate well.
Yeah,
He was very explosive with punt returns. And he had some big plays in the Chiefs offense that, some people will remember, but, he never was the guy that could, take on that wide receiver one role, be the guy that,
yeah, no,
completely changed the offense. And he hasn't been as healthy over the past few seasons as well. And obviously the Chiefs, got him back last year after he was with the Jets, didn't do much there. And then, this year, try to go, I think he started with the Packers. I think he signed somewhere else, didn't work out there, and now he's with Buffalo. So he's kind of been around the block a little bit.
mm. Yeah, no, I just think they don't have anybody to stretch the field there, so it's gonna help Josh Allen, but I think it's a little too late there. Just their overall team, I'm just not impressed with their defense. I think they needed to add more players at the trade deadline. They didn't, so they're stuck with it. And it's just if you look at that Bills schedule, man, it is brutal. They got the Bucks this week. They play on Thursday night next week, and then they continue to have tough opponents. So right now, I think it's the Patriots division to lose, and I trust Vrabel, man. And you saw tonight that they found a way to win, and I think they're gonna probably continue to win until I don't see it. I mean, the Patriots are legit, and I think people gotta get that in their head. Like I said on Sunday, like we all thought it was gonna be next year was the year for the Patriots, but it turns out it's this year, man. They're a year early.
Yeah, and I think, between Baltimore, Buffalo, and Kansas City, the three teams that have dominated the AFC for the last 5 years, like I think two of those three teams are winning their division. I think one of them will be an odd man out and be a wild card team, to close the season. It's up for interpretation which of those two you think. Obviously, it feels like the most likely would either be Kansas City or Buffalo to be one of those wild card teams, but it feels
Yeah,
like the teams that have been dominant over this 5 year stretch are in a little bit different spot. It feels like the tables have turned with some teams that have an easier schedule. Their young rosters in general are playing really good football right now. And I think with the Patriots, what I really like about them is just the type of confidence this team has right now. After week 3, this team has looked completely different. they got in a hot stretch playing against some bad teams, and they've carried that over to be a more consistent team throughout the entire season. So with them, I feel confident and I know what type of game I'm going to get from them. The biggest thing with Buffalo for me is I just like their ceiling a little bit more. They have the better quarterback, right? And
Yeah,
Buffalo has played in these big game situations for years now. New England, I understand that they beat Buffalo, they beat Tampa Bay, but I didn't walk away from those games, being fully convinced that this team, in January is going to show up like that in the playoffs and this team's going to be ready to go. Remember that Mike Vrabel was the one seed in the AFC a few years back and they lost in the first round, right? This is a
yeah, I
little
remember.
bit different of a vibe, obviously, because the quarterback Drake Maye is better than Ryan Tannehill was that year, but you have to remember that this team has no playoff experience entering, and we rarely see a team with no playoff experience go on a deep playoff run. So while I think New England has probably the most likely chance to win the East, right? I don't think I'd take them over Buffalo if they were to match up in the playoffs right now. I think the Bills would find a way to win that game, and I know they have a ton of holes in terms of their run defense. If they don't run the ball well, they don't
Yeah.
produce. But it just feels like when it comes down to it, this Buffalo team has what it takes in a one-score game to come out with a win, and I think you know that's going to be the deciding factor for me down the stretch here for these teams. Ultimately, though, Dan, we got a great slate of games that we're going to break down for you
Oh,
guys coming up here Saturday morning. So
best of
make
the
sure
year, best of the year.
tune into our Week 11 preview. Multiple matchups that'll be deciding massive conference implications. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more Blitz Sports Media content. And me and Dan will catch you guys next time.